by Clayton. And again, they'll set things up. Start again.
1.5 minutes played. Second term, Neiman, front position. Dumps it down the throat of Beveridge. Couldn't quite get there. Bamford can't control it. Colville comes over the top of him and wraps him up. And umpire Slavin says no chance to get rid of that one, fellas. We'll have a bounce. Very good crowd building at Woodville Oval.
Fantastic atmosphere down on the ground, David. There's just a huge amount of people around both huddles, and they're into it. They love their SANFL footy.
Pushing the back, says the umpire. What do you reckon, Mark? You're the expert.
Well, it's there. Look at this. Bang, arm on the shoulder. It was either or. He put the arm up. It was either too high or in the back.
Neiman towards centre forward. Now, he's kicked that to a 2-on-1 contest. Not sure what the thought process was, other than that's where the Eagles have to kick it. Michael.
That's where they go every time. Stephen Williams knows what's on. Game plans. It's public knowledge, basically, the Eagles' game plan.
Oh, Hall. The second of the football with a bounce. Went past Philippi. Now, Fruin's out there with Fegert. They're having a good tussle so far in this game. But you just look right around, and these two sides will meet again at some stage when the finals do start in 3 weeks' time.
You're suggesting they'll meet in the grand final?
Well, a couple of other sides there. Sturt have been in very good form, David. We saw them last week. You just think finals, another game. Really like another season. Ball comes down. Carter couldn't take it. Good work by Spinagle. Over the top there was McGuinness. Gives the ball back. Who can do this? Bamford's in there. The handball didn't have enough carry on it. Great smother off the boot. Just trying to pick that player up. Was it Bamford again? Made the mistake, and then second effort got there to the boot of Matthew Kluzak.
Fantastic. Good technician too. Good technique. Arms down. Great courage.
McGuinness has been more aggressive. So too Bamford and so too Brown, Michael, than we've seen all year.
They've come out to intimidate and be physical with this team that really does rely on their skill and foot speed.
Reminds me of Tim Geneva, who was always an aggressive little fellow. Carr from half back towards half forward with the kick. Neiman front position, marks in front of Ackland. Ackland's only 18 too. He's an up-and-coming sort of kid. Beveridge to Floriani. What a great family tradition the Florianis have had with the Eagles. We talked about the Hanks prior to the game. Archie upended. Very clever work. Gallagher gathers the ball, claimed by Bamford. Bamford's got another skill and saved Port Adelaide another goal.
In Port Adelaide, their structure in the defensive end is excellent. They had 4-on-2 there at the hot spot, Hamo's hot spot. I think the Eagles are calling it, but what Stephen Williams has worked out as a game plan is being very effective so far.
Kick. Orman Allen goes wide with it. Waite should take it. He does.
Julian Waite was played a fair bit of reserves football coming back from injury, but it really is over the last couple of weeks running into some good form.
So Julian Waite off the half-back line. He too just looking for options up forward. He's got Spinagle, who now just lumbers himself into a position where he can take a mark. It's a high ball. This will favour the big fella. He'll jump at it. Neiman's in front. Just read the ball. The umpire, well, late with his whistle, but finally blew it. Has given the mark to David Neiman. He's quick. He wants to get the ball in. He does. Chris Kluzak just got in front of Corey Archie. And the clever Chris Kluzak will have his first shot at goals this afternoon.
Propped, stopped and jumped.
That's exactly what Coach Hamilton asked for at quarter time. He said, you've got to get in front. I don't care if it goes over the back. You've got to get in front. Follow the coach's instruction. The coach knows best. And Kluzak has got a shot on goal, I think, to bring up his 60th goal of the season.
So Christopher Kluzak, opportunity. That's a long run up. But that's the result. The Eagles side and also their supporters want another goal to the Eagles. They now move on to 4-3, 27, a 6-point margin over the Magpies.
And quickly it becomes a critical time of the game now for Port Adelaide. Kicking with the wind over the Eagles, if they can get 2 or 3 in a row, it just might take this aggression out of the Port Adelaide team. But if Port Adelaide can come back, I hope they do, because I want to see this type of football all day.
Well, you are sitting at home. They tell me that the Panthers were up by 5 goals at quarter time. So great opening term by the boys in blue.
And where did you have your money?
4-3 Bulldogs.
4-3 to 3-3. 6 points the margin in favour of the Eagles. We're only 6.5 minutes into the second term. Spinagle thumps it down. Pearce steals it away, turns it around the corner towards half forward. Pesh, first man there, took front position, just tried a little quick handball. Successful. Gallagher inside 50, straightens up, steadies, and bang! Finishes it right through the middle. 2 goals to Gallagher, and the Eagles grab a break.
They do. We've just said that this is a critical time of the game now for Port. Just wind that clock around a little bit forward. Now it's real critical. They must regroup. They've got to get a centre break. A little disappointed there with Spinagle. Got his hand to the ball, pushed it to the right. There was no Port player there. Easy takeaway for the Eagles, and Gallagher's a quality player coming back from the AFL. He's not going to miss that, running full onto the face of goal. It's his 8th kick, 2nd goal. He's having a good day out.
We just sense all of a sudden, start of the second quarter, the Magpies just not hitting in as hard as what they were. The Eagles, well, we spoke about their leg speed, their numbers around the football. Well, they've started well. This time Spinagle thumps it forward. Ackland has taken Colville well. It's his first kick in about 25 minutes, or first possession in about that period of time. Again, they've got numbers around the football. Dillon gets it in quickly from behind. Christopher Kluzak, 1-on-1. It was Philippou, quick hands across to Fruin, left leg, Fruin, he's bounced one through. The 2 big arms go in the air by the big fella. And that's another major, that's his first. And the 6th one for the Eagles.
Fruin will be pretty happy with that. Manning the centre half forward position today. Played a little bit down back, but he was there. You see the quick entry, it's just a 1-on-1 competition. Philippou did very well to bring it down and control it. Shot out the handball, and Fruin got that smile on his face. A left foot dribbler, but that's 3 quick ones. Port Adelaide really have got some work to do. Spinagle has got to hit David Brown on the run this time, or things are desperate for Port Adelaide.
8 minutes gone, 6-3 to 3-3. Port Adelaide need the next goal. Wade is doing a good job of niggling Gallagher on the grandstand wing, but the niggle has gone out of Port Adelaide. They've opened so very well. Now they've settled down. Spinagle, big thump forward, into space it goes. Stevens did well, thumping it back to the middle. Ackland couldn't get it, but Pesh almost stole away. Ackland's second effort was very, very good. Just dispatches the kick forward. Well done, Beveridge, intimidated a couple. And forward goes Waite towards full forward. No one home, bottom of the pack, Holland throws it out wide, a little bit of space created, and Hall goes towards the boundary line. 2 Eagles players, Gallagher first man there, can't quite take the half volley. Didak did well, but couldn't keep the ball in play. 9 minutes gone, 18 points the margin. And in other matches around town this afternoon, Glenelg by a point so far over Norwood. South 28 points over Central. What's happened to the Bulldogs? Mark Nayley.
Must be blowing, and the good breeze down at Norwood Oval this afternoon. Still the Panthers, they need to find some form. Still a hope of making the 5. Well, that's Pesh.
They might just know that you put their money on them this afternoon, those doggies, and they said, let's throw one so Nail stays poor.
But I back every side that plays, unfortunately. The ball's in again. We've got Ackland up against Neiman. Colville just pops the ball over the top. Good work by Hall, just trying to push the ball wide. And again, it's out. The vocals support for both sides has been very good so far in this game.
It's a good crowd in, isn't it? Look at that hill. Not a lot of space up there.
Ball thumb down, Colville again. Just finding a little bit of space. Philippou picks it up, brings the ball back. Going back will be Stevens. Well, gee, he is flying the football.
Time for Chalmers to have a run in ruck, you think, or not?
Possibly. Spinagle's been doing a pretty good job just getting his hands on the football. Across to Gallagher. Covering a fair bit of ground, gives it back to Floriani. He can go down the line to Beveridge. Beveridge can take this and run, but Waite makes a few yards to get to the mark. He does. Fruin gives the lead. Beveridge kick needs to be spot on. Puts it out in front. Pushed under it. Fegert, one grab. Nearly got the second one there. Confronted by Matthew Kluzak. So the 10-minute mark, nearly 11-minute mark of the second quarter. Well, an 18-point margin favouring the Eagles.
It looks like it's Ackland that's going to take the rucking duties while Spinagle sits on the bench.
Well done, Pearce. Just flashed through, took the ball off the ruck contest. It sits nicely for Chris Kluzak. Archie was good enough to recover, but had a fumble. Has to go towards the boundary line, gives the ball up. Pearce just inside the line, one way then the other, turns it around the corner. Archie was very clever, dived on the boot, smothered the kick, and resets the Port Adelaide defence.
Good desperation from Corey Archie then. Paddled the ball out towards the boundary line. He was too far away. He would have given away the free kick if he had kept going. But then when the ball fell to an Eagles player, he was very good with a smother.
39-21, 11 and a half minutes in. Ackland brings it back over the top. Here goes Dillon, gives it off to Pesh, a little fumble. The Eagles haven't had the sure hands that they've had in recent weeks. Gives it away, Feagott looks for O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin finds it, very slick, bringing it back in board was Fraser. Running hard, it's tough work out there in the clinches. Didak forced onto the right boot, turns it around the corner into a little bit of space. Steed just couldn't quite get there. The bounce was unkind. Rogers goes to the boundary line, but Chalmers cuts it off, comes back in board with the left hand handball. Rogers and Steed. Rogers was very good. Threw it up with the handball. Floriani taps it on. Stevens again. Here come the Eagles. They're charging forward into space. Pearce in the midfield is held up by Carr. Not enough though. Gives it away to Beveridge, running freely through the middle. Delivers it towards full forward. Archie was first man in front. Off the ground goes Dillon. It's a high ball now. One-on-one contest. Phillippo back underneath it. Ormond Allen just applied enough pressure and forced the ball across the line. Concedes the point.
It was a tough one to catch that one for Phillippo, but the work on the half-back line, Rogers in particular, up against the smaller, quicker Alfie Steed, just got his body in front, knocked out the handball and created the turnover. Fantastic work from the veteran. And we just saw there Phillippo searching for that ball as it floated down in the breeze. It was tough to catch, and he wasn't up to it.
Well, trouble here, it's 2-on-1. The big thump down, a little bit too hard there by Fruin. He had the player in short and Beveridge kick down the line. Phillippo in front, puts the one hand up, but again, the umpire just saw the grab on the shoulder.
Stop it. Give me strength.
Oh, I'll give you strength. It's a free kick.
Well, there's another one. You're going to play all those soft little suckers. Blow the whistle all day.
Well, Colville's at the bottom of that pack. It's Bamford with him still. They just have to wait till he gets up. I just think he's starting to find himself into the game. The only way to break a tagger is really run them off the feet in Colville.
I think Bamford, sorry Mark, Bamford is now changing out of the pocket. Dutchy Holland's picking him up. Colville, I think, is lining up next to McGuinness.
The ball's down again. Neiman takes on Chalmers, comes down to O'Loughlin, he sidesteps one player, can spot players loose by himself. Once Clayton, will he get there? Tate just couldn't quite make the yards. Oh, a slipper been dropped there by Dutchy Holland. Accidentally, of course.
I think he stood on his head, or his
hair. Oh, that's what it was, just trying to put his boot on the ground. Oh. Just happened to make contact with his eye.
Didn't look good, did it?
Didn't look good, but nothing in it really.
I like the way this bloke plays his football.
A lot to like.
Mark Clayton plays half back, half forward, very gutsy, good skills.
Well, they need a goal for the Magpies, and that's their first one for the second quarter. It comes off the boot of Mark Clayton, and he really is getting the applause for the hard work he's done so far in this game.
It was one that Port Adelaide needed after 3 quick ones from the Eagles. They've stemmed the tide a little bit, slowed the game down again, and they've got one on the board, but it's been hard work. They're still at it physically. You just have to work out, we just see that replay again. Mark Clayton just getting the shoelaces in the eye, I think, was the problem there, but good enough to get up off the ground and finish off.
13 points the margin. At the bounce, Neiman wins it down. Floriani off his wing. It's been a good battle today with Tregenza and Floriani. Carter's been very good from half-back for Port Adelaide. Under pressure, he gives away the kick. Neiman couldn't take the mark, but second effort recovers. Pushes it out now to Colville, who forces it into the forward line. Archie couldn't quite get there. Paddles it towards the line. Ormond Allen, presence of mind, runs it across yet again. And there is Phillippo on screen, who's really giving a contest, but hasn't seen a great deal of the ball.
No, the entries into the forward line from the Eagles today aren't their normal quality, but I think that is a consequence of the physical pressure being applied by Port Adelaide.
Fraser couldn't quite get there. Brown just forces it out. O'Loughlin, well, he's been something else today. Pinch of phrase, he's been very special.
Who would you pinch that one from, Dave?
Brown, Tregenza, my good mate. Bruce, who really knows how to do the job. Bamford was very clever, follows it up. Rogers comes crashing in, provides a shepherd for Steed. Now it's Didak, handballs, runs, gives support to Phillippo. On the left, he's played here before, but this time he misses. Off to the left, and it's a point.
Disappointing the end from Alfie Steed there on a dead run as a rover. He really should have handled that ball, picked it up, and he would have had a shot on goal. In the end, it was Phillippo struggling on his left-hand side.
The Magpies very loose now with his kick in. It allows Pesh time just to set things up. The kick. You're looking for Matthew Kluzak. He's been held pretty well by Stephen Carter so far in the game.
We talked about Port and Binky, Brosnan, Stengline to come back. We forgot Smith. Just happens to be the club's leading goal kicker.
Yeah, but you think, is it Manfield to come back in? They've got Cicarella playing in the Crows at the moment. There's a couple of good players there. Biglands. Whether Burton comes back, we'll have to wait and see.
It's going to be a good quality final series. I'm looking forward to it already.
With all the stars on show. You did right.
Handball over the top by Matthew Kluzak allows Robert Shirley to come in left leg. His non-preferred side, but he had brought home an absolute ripper of a kick to bring up his first major. And another one for the Eagles. There's 7-4, 46. The Magpies go to 4-4, 28.
I've still got my jaw open on that kick. You watch Robert Shirley here. He just sizes up what's going on. Watch how he holds the ball and drops it. Just drops it across his foot and gets the result that he wanted. Very happy with that as we see the captain of the club in Rogers take a seat. Allows Pearce to come back on. Also coming on was McClure for James McClure for his first run of SANFL football in something like 18 months after taking that young man's trip around the world with a backpack on his back.
Andrew Rogers, the skipper, deserves a rest. They're going to keep him for the second half. Then they'll need fresh legs. O'Loughlin been outstanding, probably best man on the ground so far.
Oh,
what a great mark that was. Pearce up and down under pressure. The advantage allowed to fly as Holland gathers the ball. The free kick and the mark was paid, wasn't it? And Tape receives the ball from McClure towards half forward and getting away.
They're loose.
Well, look at this. Stevens down from defence to centre half forward, finishes it off with a point.
Oof.
And Dillon pushes him back to defence. Says, get back there.
Absolutely. I think the reason that Paul Hamilton has swung the changes, Alfie Steed was just showing a little bit too much speed for Andrew Rogers. Andrew Rogers has come off to have a seat and a well-deserved rest. Adam Pearce, a player of similar fleetness of foot. I think I'm starting to struggle there with telling everybody how quick he is.
And versatility.
Well, I've just also noticed so far in the game that pressure, that physical pressure from the Magpies has just come off a bit. Yep. The Eagles' skill level has improved. They're starting to hit targets going forward, and they're carrying the ball a lot better from their half-back line.
Sorry, Mark. They've been very good today at dragging the ball back into the middle of the ground.
Big ball by Fraser there. Comes down. Can't quite pick up. It looked like Gallagher possibly at the bottom of that. Was it Matthew Kluzak? Bit hard to tell from that angle. But it is. No, it's Matthew Kluzak. I was right.
You blokes all look the same.
Oh, knock it off. This is Saturday afternoon sport, fellas.
Well, player taken without the fall. Matthew Kluzak in there again. Another black armbands. The Magpies.
Of course, Ken Obst passed away a fortnight ago, Mark. Great loss to the club.
It's the first opportunity the players have had to show their sign of respect. And Beveridge. Well, he's going for safety at the boundary line once again.
Yes, if you've just joined us, Ken Obst passed away a fortnight ago. The 88-year-old, I suppose, patriarch of the Obst dynasty, father of Peter and Trevor, grandfather of Andrew. I think the family's clocked up over 800 games between them. And a fair few flags amongst that for Port Adelaide. So I guess the black armbands worn today, respectful of a great man. Here's Beveridge. After this one, 20 minutes into the second term. Claimed by Carr, goes to ground, no whistle there, thankfully. O'Loughlin fights hard for it, so too does Shirley. It's real stacks on the mill, and it's tough football out there. Floriani was almost decapitated, but ducked underneath it. O'Loughlin's tackle was very, very good. Here's Beveridge, flicking it out to Shirley. Gallagher, they combined pretty well, the Eagles. The kick was very, very poor. Stevens has gone to centre half forward, fellas, by the way. And this is McClure, the backpacker, back to take part in the Eagles finals. Towards half forward, Kluzak, Matthew Type, run down by Carter, gets the handball away. Carter goes after it. Second and third efforts were outstanding. Gets the ball, but was already out of play.
Well done, Stephen Carter. That was fantastic persistence. First game back from a little injury as we see John Floriani come off for a rest. And it was Adam Ugrinnick sitting on the bench at the start of the game. We couldn't pick him out because there is the speedster coming back on for his first run of senior football in a long time.
No, he was in the reserves last week. The week before he was in the seniors.
He has played a game.
Before that, he's had just horrific injuries. And in other matches, Mark, you'll like to call these two.
Well, the Tigers, can they upset one of the premiership sides for the season in the red leagues? But we see South, well, there must be a breeze down there because South were 28 points up and now only lead by 6. But here, well, 47 plays 28. It's a high ball, 19-point margin. The ball, which way will it bounce? Gallagher's in there, also Filippo. Filippo plucks the ball out, gives it across. 31 who's just come on is James McClure. Just could not quite find the big white sticks. So 20-point margin now to the Eagles. About 21.5-minute mark into the second quarter.
That is not good vision for Port Adelaide, is it, Michael?
No, you'd think Brett Chalmers is going to be key to any premiership aspirations that Port Adelaide have. And it's probably, if he can shake this one off, it's probably about time he had a bit of a trot in the ruck.
Surgery 7 weeks.
He can't trot, he's terrible. Ankle?
No,
definitely an ankle.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay, fair enough.
Ankle or hip? I reckon it's an ankle.
He had knee surgery just 7 weeks ago, and there would be some concern
in the Port Adelaide camp. He's coming straight off. He's done it. He can't even run.
Ball at the back, dumps it down. Brown roving the back of the pack. Clayton gave him a very good shepherd. He runs along the boundary line, delivers it into space. It's not a bad kick. Alfie Steed came out and got it. This fellow's exciting. 2 knee reconstructions, everything against him, and he's really turning in to a top footballer. And the kick was beautiful to Waite. Drifting down from the wing, marks in front of you, Greenwich, 15 metres out, directly in front.
If you want to see an exhibition of skills of Australian football, have a look at that passage of play. Good shepherd from Clayton. David Brown on a dead run, that left foot, just pinpointed the pass to Alfie Steed. Good mark under pressure, and another good mark to Julian Waite, who'd run down the outer side.
Coming back to his best form, Waite, as the finals approach. 15 metres out, directly in front. Steers that one right through the middle. Port Adelaide reclaim them. They've gone to a 14-point deficit. They really were struggling 20 points down just moments ago, but now they're back in the hunt.
Definitely back in the hunt now. Port Adelaide stood around for the first 5 minutes of the quarter and watched the Eagles kick 3 goals, but they've got back to their game plan. They've slowed the game down somewhat. They've got it tight, and Julian Waite continues his resurgence. That was a very good effort to run on the outer side and took a good mark against Adam Ugrinek.
48 plays, 34. 23.5-minute mark. The umpire, Richard Williams, will thump the red leather in the middle of Woodville Oval. He does it well again. Spinagle up against Frill, and the ball's knocked forward. Hall couldn't quite get to it, neither could Filippo. They're knocked down. Well, they're running through hard. O'Loughlin's already kicked 2. Too much pace here for Gallagher. Just props it up high. Has he got it enough? I don't think he has. The umpire hits the left shoulder, indicating another behind. They're 5-5, 35. Eagles 7-6, 48.
Ricky O'Loughlin will be disappointed with that, because I'm disappointed with it. I've called a goal, put the mozzer on him, but really, on dead run straight at goal, you've got to be able to kick those if you want to play at this level.
Tape to Gallagher, who's finding plenty of the ball. Over the top to Beveridge. Well, he has probably been the outstanding centreman in the competition this season. Towards Kluzak at half forward, front position, brings it down. Fraser roving. Just handballs the ball into a little bit of space, gives himself somewhere to go. Waite over the top of it, crashes in hard and fast. Fraser comes again. So too does Kluzak, but the umpire indicates whistle to the mouth, and it's a bounce. 24.5 minutes gone, second term, and it's 13 points the margin in favour of the Eagles as Pearce comes off and Rogers comes back on for the Eagles.
Fair bit of body strength in that competition between Carter and Matthew Kluzak, isn't there?
Beveridge should keep the football in. He does it now. Comes back to Colville. Colville can spot a player in Stevens. Then half forward. Filippo's there as well. Actually would have spoiled, I think, a player in Stevens. Fegert is tackled well from behind by Filippo again. They're just able to maintain the ball in their forward zone.
Probably not the best decision there from Filippo to jump against Stevens, who had the sit.
Doesn't look good here for Beveridge coming off, holding by the shoulder.
It doesn't look good at all on the boundary line for Beveridge.
Port Adelaide will test you at every level. Oh, Clayton's just stolen that away. That was very good umpiring, Mark.
Yeah, very good umpiring. Just call it on. He takes 2 bounces. He can go for another one. Can spot a player loose, and the captain goes a bit longer with the kick, but Jamie Tate will clean this up. Now the rebound. Which way will they go? He doubles back, kicks to where it came from, and gets it across to McClure. McClure's got a player loose in the middle. That's Pesh. Pesh can spot players everywhere wide. Now they've got 3 players out here, the Eagles. Dillon will take it, give it over the top of the running Colville. Spotting that was Bamford. Goes across the 1-2, back to one another. Dillon right on 55. Unleashes with a big bomb. Where's the breeze to bring it back? It couldn't. Got another score to the Eagles. They're 7-7, 49. Magpies 5-5, 35.
Only takes a small mistake in this game to really turn things around, doesn't it? Mark Clayton running down the outer side, just put the kick on the wrong side of his player, allowed the mark to be taken by the Eagles, and then they rebounded with vigour.
Well, he really did unload Dylan too, didn't he? That would have been a team lifter. He did kick that. Ashley's on. Port Adelaide needs some fresh legs and some run. They've asked him to give them part of that. Now Spinagle, big leap. Oh, Clayton beat him to the contest and marked in front of Rogers. Clayton's very good when he's not playing on quick players, and Dylan really caused him some problems. Carter just got to the contest late. McClure onto the left again in his space. No one home for the Eagles. Spinagle up and down, marks it. Playing that ruckman behind played pretty well. Fraser was good enough to recover the mistake. Now Fegan, a long one. It's, well, just put it into space now. I don't know where he was kicking. He just didn't look. Rogers drifted into the space, marked it, rebounded it, and it was very fortunate for Fegan, truly, that Kluzak couldn't take the ball on the half volley.
He just didn't quite get there. Come back though to Michael Spinagle. Took a good mark at centre half back and then tried to give off the handball when he still had his defender hanging on to them. You can't do that. You've got to break free, take a step back, and then lay off the handball.
Oh, Pesh has caught one in the eye.
Accidental poke by Carter.
They still hurt.
Yes. Smoggers just said he hits a lot of people accidentally.
Oh, it's a great kick. That is a great kick. Pinpoint accuracy by Nicholas Pesh.
Not a bad lead.
Allows David Neiman, well, a little bit of space. It's all he needed. With one-eyed Pesh, he's just found the mark.
He's a good option, isn't he, when he floats forwards? We've seen him a number of times just taking his rest from the ruck, move into the forward pocket, and he's kicking 1 or 2 goals every time he does it. Very good option.
Well, David Neiman will kick from 45 metres out. He's virtually directly in front. The breeze will be right at his back. It's a horrible kick off the boot. And Spinagle touched it. He has, the big fella. Nobody else would have, but he did. And the smile on David Neiman's face. I don't think the coach would like to see that, but he shakes his head. He realises there's a good opportunity there to bring up the 8th goal, but it's behind. The Eagles now lead by 15 points.
Just trying to work out, fellas, how many of these current Eagle players were around when they beat Port Adelaide in 1993. And quickly to mind, I thought it was Rogers, Neiman, Pesh. Now, I think Tate was there and Kluzak might have been around the place as well. Was Ugrinnik in that side, Mark? So not a lot. This is really a new dynasty for the Eagles. If you go through Port Adelaide, they've got a lot of players that were around the mark. Floriani was just manhandled, pulled off the ball. Ugrinnik with pace, turns it to Colville. Punches one around the corner into the pocket. He goes 2-on-1 in the contest. Archie's done a great job today on Kluzak. That's Christopher Kluzak. I think he's only kicked, just the one from one kick.
He's got good defensive skills, hasn't he, Corey Archie? Just got the good pace, big enough body size, and quick enough just to always be in front spoiling.
Well, the half-time siren sounds here, Michael, and it really has been an entertaining half of football from both sides.
Entertainment's a great word for it, Mark. It's been fantastic. We saw just the hardest physical opening we've seen in a lot of weeks in SANFL footy. Port Adelaide coming off their 92-point grubbing, really got after it, closed down the skill level of the Eagles a little bit. But over time, the Eagles, they started to run. They got 3 quick goals in the start of that second quarter. But again, Port Adelaide came back at them. They slowed the game down, poured their players into the back half, and they're really back in the game now. And I'm looking forward to this second half. Hopefully, it'll stay tight to the end of the day.
Well, it's a very tight Eagles unit there as they run off together. As we see the half-time scores indicate the Eagles. They're 7-8-50. The 15-point margin over the Magpies are on 5-5-35. And you're watching this match of the day on ABC Sport. First bounce to start half-time. It favours the Eagles. Colville running onto, he's in front of O'Loughlin. The ball needs a sit. He goes now to ground. Chips it up. Pressure's in there. Tackled well from behind. Fraser can't take it again. Pesh can spot play, but just cannot break the tackle there of Ackland. Over the top was O'Loughlin. Handballs, tries to find Carr. Big Neiman comes through. 55 out, spots the ball out. Slipping over again, looked like Christopher Kluzak. It allows Corey Archie, who's picking up Christopher Kluzak. And Trent Allen's the player picking up Michael Filippo.
You've done very well to pick that up.
Corey Archie's been one of the Port Adelaide's better players all day. Just the ability he's got to get his hand in the way and spoil the ball every time. It's a feature.
Well, which way will he go here? He favours the Magpies. Back, I think he is, even though McGuinness was running hard out of defence. But Fruin just interfered. Free kick goes to Spinagle, who loves to give a handball. O'Loughlin takes it. The spike head one, as he's known around the club. Gives it across to Warman Allen, working hard across there. Looked like McClure. The kick again. Rogers. A little bit of voice there. Oh, well done by Didak. He'll run onto this football. If he gets to the city, he'll take off. Couldn't. But this does give Freegan a chance. He's moved up forward. Spots the ball up, looking up towards Filippo. Couldn't take the ball overhead. Back there, it looks like Pearce thumps the ball to the boundary line. What did the umpire say here? Well, indicating the ball to be thrown in. But I know which way Pearce was going, straight for the safety of that white line.
Yeah, there was no two decisions in his mind there. It was just get the ball out, get it safe, and we'll operate from the restart.
Pearce has the job in the back pocket on Steed, who is looming as a dangerous player. Neiman, front position, thumps it down. McGuinness couldn't take it, neither could Tape. Here's Alfie. Handballs over the top, runs on. Neiman just thumps it towards the line. We're 2 minutes into the third term, 15 points the margin. And if you've just joined us, the first half was full of fireworks as Port Adelaide tried to intimidate the Eagles. And midway through the second quarter, the Eagles started to run and get their game plan going. And it looked for a moment like they might blast Port Adelaide out of the water, but the Magpies showed some great character to stay in the contest. Neiman down to Brown. Colville claimed him in the tackle. Over the top of it, getting it away was Feagott. Couldn't quite get there. Pearce claimed him. And now it's desperate measures as players just battle, scrape and fight at each other. Bamford 27 on the bottom of the pack with the ball. He's had Colville for the first half, Michael. How have you seen that battle?
Bamford's done a pretty good job with the defensive role. We see him around the ball a lot as an attacking rover, but he is doing a good defensive job.
Clearing kick by Stevens over the top. Gallagher and also Ashley's now been put on to David Gallagher. Well, Gallagher's stats in the first half reasonably impressive. He had 12 possessions, a couple of goals and 4 marks. Spinagle comes in, contests with Neiman. Neiman front position, goes again for the line and again finds it.
White, Michael, has come to the other side of the oval, picking up Floriani.
That's the way they started the game. Then Floriani came off and then rotated back, so they played on opposite sides, but matching up again at the start of this second half.
Neiman thumps it down again, comes down to McGuinness, just throws it on the boots, a high ball, Feagott. And also Stevens. Stevens has been held, that's the way I would have called it. The umpire naturally agrees with me.
Naturally.
So Stevens wants to play on, gives it across the Tape. Tape will come out towards Colville. Will Bamford gelts him? I don't think he will. Tries to slap him, gives a little bit of a tickle under the nose.
That was Carr.
It was a Carr, it was.
Maybe a change has been made. Or perhaps, yeah, I think it has. Change has been made.
I think Bamford is out there at the moment. Yes, he is. He's tucked up in the pocket.
He's roving now.
So maybe roving there with Carr.
That's how he finished the first half.
Well, Colville takes the mark from virtually the same position it was only seconds ago. Now McClure's free. He can create a loose man here. Rogers run down hard. He tugs the line with a kick. A little nudge. Well, he's not happy for him, but it was pretty obvious.
Yes, raised his shoulder, raised the elbow, gave it a push. That was a free kick.
Ackland's gone to centre half back. Feagott's gone to centre half forward. They've swapped positions. White tries to crash through. Rogers manhandle, play on to the umpire. Floriani, quick handball to McClure, who's claimed, couldn't get it away. It was a good tackle because he just couldn't get the handball clear. And the free kick goes to Port Adelaide and O'Loughlin, who was outstanding in the first half and kicked one miracle goal in the opening 5 or 6 minutes of the match. To centre half forward he goes. Filippo was the target, got there late on the contest. Holland turns it into space. Here goes Colville. Well, he's got plenty of pace, and Carr is just plodding on behind him. So Colville tucks it, runs, has a bounce, delivers it towards half forward. Out comes Archie. Phillippo got two hands to the contest. Trent Ormanellan kept his footing, picks up the ball, delivers it beautifully executed to O'Loughlin. Bustled out of the contest. Here's Floriani, dragged down by Waite. Play on, says the umpire. And now the whistle's blown. It's a free kick.
Ackland gave a silly free kick away.
Well, I don't think... Well, the umpire saw something. Let's see it. Now, it's not there. He lets play go on. That's the right thing to do. And see what happens afterwards.
This is a boot.
There was a boot, was there?
The boot to the face. Maybe.
Accidentally?
Accidentally.
Well, let's see what... Well, we'll get a chance to have a look at it again in slow-mo.
Well, Ackland was the only player around the contest, but it looked like the boot had hit the face of Floriani.
Well, Slavin was there, and Floriani's 45 metres out and will make the distance. How's the accuracy? It's pretty good. He's first on the board to Floriani. The Eagle fans like it. They've got a good record here, and they're 8-8. Port Adelaide are 5-5 on the ABC scoreboard.
Just get the feeling that Stephen Williams has given the word to be aggressive again, be physical. There's not much.
Offended him away with the arm. That's what it was for.
Gee, that was a good call.
Mark Nayley is going to the umpire's dinner
on Wednesday night.
And he's looking for a seat at the top table.
I tell you no.
But there's Beveridge. Oh, it looks like it's a collarbone or an AC joint.
Yeah. And they're 6 weeks. We're 3 weeks out from the finals.
No, it looks like it's even higher than that. Now it comes down. Now Gallagher should take this. He needs support. The running. Tate gives it. Goes over the top to Colville. Colville finding a bit of space. Clayton nearly got to him, but a hand to Dillon. Dillon can set things up here again. Comes in board to McClure. McClure can go over the top. He doesn't. Straightens the body. Then heads for home with a kick. Who's there?
Oh, yes. He kicked seven against them last time, and he's been well held today.
Carter is a good defender. He's the man with the job. You see Carter there. He went to the front of the pack looking for Ormanellan to get his hand on the ball. Kluzak flew at the ball. Took a really good mark, and he'll kick this goal.
The Matty Kluzak from point-blank range. I wonder if brings up his first for the afternoon. And gee, that's the second one for the quarter for the Eagles. They're 9-8-62. Just too much power for the Magpies at this stage of the game.
It's pretty good entry. Nice quick entry again from the Eagles. And there's that grab. Eyes on the ball, good elevation, and a nice easy finish.
I'm just thinking there's some similarities back to 1989, 79 in fact, when the Eagles belted Port Adelaide just before the finals, but the Magpies overcame them in the final series. In 94 the same thing happened. But I think this Eagles side looks a little better. Richard Williams just has a word to Ashley, who's got Gallagher and has got the niggle factor. Port Adelaide did it pretty well in the first quarter, and they held their own. 9-8 to 5-5. 8.5 minutes into the third term. Spanagel thumps it down. Floriani gathers it in, thrown away by Waite. Play on, said the umpire. Good umpiring. Now over the top of it. Working hard with Shirley. Colville handball out. Brown couldn't get the kick away. Ugrinic thumps it forward into space. Here's a tackle. What's the umpire say? Nothing in that. Dead heat. Will have a bounce.
Wasn't a lot of chance there for, I think it's Matthew Ashley underneath all of that. No chance to get it away. And there we see Brosnan sitting in the grandstand. He'll be a very big impact at centre half forward when he comes back from a groin injury.
Neiman thumps the ball in the direction. Pesh just a little dip tap across to Gallagher. Gallagher will set up Archie to take a good mark at fullback. And Archie comes out, throws it onto his left leg. It's an awkward kick. No real visions in that disposal, but O'Loughlin sat for him. Jamie Tate. Now he's got 2 or 3 players out here. Just casually comes across to the captain. The captain's got Matthew Kluzak working hard, but decides 50-50 contest, not a good option. Comes back to Tate and he'll set things up. Pearce gets around Carr, gives a handball across to Shirley. Shirley has got Christopher Kluzak working hard. Just gives a little bit of a nudge there to Archie, but Spanagel had worked back hard to fill the hole.
Corey Archie is really doing a good job of cutting off the leads of Christopher Kluzak. Kluzak just doesn't have a hole to run into today.
Spanagel's dropped back into that hole successfully as well. Shirley to Gallagher. Gallagher's continuing his good first half form. Around the corner it goes. Well, Ackland dropped back. He looks a little more comfortable since being moved to defence with a kick. There's a shocker. Just as you say it, Phillippo marks 20 metres out directly in front, and Ackland puts his hands to his head and can't believe it.
Yes, I think he should remove his head on that. As soon as he kicked it, you can see the look on his face in the background.
That is a great shot. Cameraman got it right. First mark, first kick for Filippo. 20 metres out, slight angle, and he's dragged it off to the left. For a point.
Disappointing. Ackland got away with one. Let's have a look at this vision. Our cameraman's right on the job. Look at that.
Great shot.
Just got it off the side of his boot. Just too casual, too relaxed, trying to kick it around the body.
Great hand by Floriani. Found Neiman. Matthew Kluzak just gave him a great shepherd, allowed Pesh, and Pesh. Beautiful disposal across the Fruin. Now Fruin, get the ball in quickly. Don't hang on to it. Come on, lad. He's got Gallagher short.
Spinagle's back there now.
Spinagle's there. He should take this. That's a great kick by Fruin, up and down. Who's there was Archie's. He made the boundary line. He has. He's looking for a behind. That's better, in fact.
Donald Cockatoo Collins warming up on the bench, on the boundary rather, for Port Adelaide. 11.5 minutes played. The Eagles are 63, Port are 35. Port Adelaide need a couple of goals to get back in the hunt. Colville handballs it off to Pesh. Oh, dangerous, dangerous, very dangerous. He gets his second. Port Adelaide, it's going to be hard from here.
Nick Pesh has been a good player today. He was the leading possession getter at half-time. Didn't feel he'd done a lot with it, but he's always around the football, and his skills are excellent. You see here, comes to Colville, he gives off the quick handball, and Pesh's got enough time around the corner. Excellent skills, and that's Pesh's second goal and 17th possession.
Yeah, well done by Nicholas Pesh. 2 goals. It's a fine effort. 10-9, 69, 5-5, 35. Ball start against Spinagle, thumps the ball forward. Comes across to Brown, just looking to run out of legs at the moment, David Brown. O'Loughlin. The ball cut off by Floriani. Well, a kick again, it's not good from defence. Another turnover, won't please Coach Hamilton. It's cleaned up by Clayton. Clayton, one glove on, one glove off. Punches the ball high, at the back it's Figert. Just the ball carried a bit further than what Tate thought.
Very unusual to see Jamie Tate misjudge a ball like that. Just jumped right underneath it as Alfie Steed
comes off.
Sit down.
And DCC comes on for his first run of the afternoon. We'll stay with Nigel Figert. The distance shouldn't be a problem. It's just touched by Neem. Has he knocked it through enough? I think he has. It's behind. Gets a pat on the back there from Stephen Hall. The big Ruckman's done his work now. In other games that are being played around the state this afternoon, it'd be very good to see that the Bay's ball there starting to find a bit of form. And down in the Lunga, well, the Bulldogs by 1 point.
Well, you might be back amongst the money. Floriani, Pesh. Pesh has found plenty of the ball today. Kluzak couldn't get to the contest. There was a push on, said the umpire, and Bamford takes it for Port Adelaide. Grandstand wing.
Bamford and Pearce are really having a go at each other.
That's great, isn't it? The umpires are letting them go. It's been a good aggressive contest. Neiman thumps that one away. Here comes Colville. DCC, Donald Cockatoo Collins. Dillon with pace. Picks it up and flicks it forward. Gallagher in turn releases it to Grenick. He's tackled Matthew Ashley. One step, bang, blasts it towards centre forward. Figet's there. Clayton's at the front. Did it pretty well. Measured the jump and marked successfully. He's 60 out. Too far out to score, perhaps 70 out. So he drives it along. Oh, he might just get there. It's through. It's going to bounce. And touched on the line by Hall. It was almost a goal.
It's pretty good awareness from Hall then. It was just a one-on-one contest with Filippo. Filippo went the lead. Hall went to go with him, realised the goal square was vacant, doubled back, and was back there to get his hand on the ball.
There's no one go to this side, but Matthew Kluzak's worked hard. He's got Spinagle now, takes the front position, but Spinagle just...
He's playing his best game.
Measured the kick he is. And Clayton punches the ball back. The kick's not going to be turned over again. This time Tate times it a bit better. Takes the mark. He's got Hall, he's got Pesh, goes to Pesh. Pesh will go wider still to Pearce. Pearce can go down the line. He's either got Filippo or Gallagher. Gallagher works hard to give him a good option. He can go over the top here. Just chips it up. And Filippo takes it well up the fielders. Filippo comes inboard to Pesh. Pesh can come across to Holland. He's also got Shirley. Hit Shirley. They've got numbers around this football. Just very loose. He can chip the ball over the top. Would be inside 50 now for Filippo. Gives it across to Holland, left leg from 45. The kick's not good. But the big fella Neiman was there in the right place, but just couldn't bring the ball to ground. And the Magpies defence clear, will hit the boundary line. Doesn't want to go out this football. No, still not out. Eventually it is forced over by John Floriani.
I'm not sure what was in Fruin's mind then. You would have thought he would have been after it as hard as nails to pick it up and turn it back into the danger zone.
Defender's mindset, isn't it? Stay on the boundary line. Forgot he's been turned into a forward, I guess, because as a defender, that's your natural instinct. This one will be a ball up.
We've got some very impressive ball carriers this side, the Eagles. You look at it, they just seem to keep finding them. The Gallagher, Colville, Floriani, the Clua now, Pesh, Ciccarella to come back into the side.
The skipper, Rogers.
Lovely kick.
I think Filippo might have come out to centre forward, or to a half-forward flank perhaps. Holland tries to turn it into space, allow Gallagher to run onto it. Now, you know what happened there? Orman Allen was in slow motion, and he was just run down, mowed down, as it were. And Chris Kluzak is not having a big day. Has kicked one goal, holds the ball in the area.
One thing you noticed today about the Eagles' forward structure is Chris Kluzak.
Mr. Sumner on screen.
You know your politicians, Dave.
Well, he's an Eagles supporter, of course.
But Chris Kluzak just not supplying those hard, fast leads straight down the middle of the ground that we've used to seeing. And it really is confusing the other players as they enter. They're going to the spot. There's no Kluzak there to take the mark.
Whoa! I don't think there's any love lost between those two, Brown and Rogers.
David Brown's come out firing all day. He's been a niggly little boy.
I think he's trying to lead by example, Mark, would you say?
He may be leading. He hasn't got any followers since that first quarter. That's what he needs. It's high. Kluzak again had to sit. Couldn't get to it. There's plenty of players around the ball. They've flooded the back line, the Magpies. He needs to get the kick out quickly. Well, you just got to ask what's happening to Orman Allen. He's either too slow or he's... I don't know. That's two occasions now. He just...
That's just a bad decision. Julian Wade's sitting there by himself. He's a ball carrier. Give him the ball. Let him use his foot skills. But Orman Allen, just a poor decision.
Doesn't look happy, does he, Orman Allen? Not playing the best footy of his career. Holland, very clever. Brown was very good. Fruin picks it up, tucks it, sold the dummy pretty well. Rubbers one towards Colville, but I think Colville will need to work hard. Carr wrapped him up in the tackle. It was 2-on-1, and Carr did very well.
Carr did well, but Colville did well as well, because I can't remember who kicked it now, but Fruin. Very poor kick across the middle of the ground.
Blood rule, is it?
Yes, this is a consequence of Bamford and Pearce being at each other. Blood rule.
Bamford's going off, Holland's going off, and umpire Richard Williams saw the infringement and sent both players off to have the blood rule sorted out.
It's Holland actually that's coming off.
Holland's off. Stevens on, injured. Now he's just come back from a broken leg. Hasn't played since April. And Fruin will take the kick. Now Stevens is coming back off, and they're going to give young Robert Paul Ellison a run. The Sydney Swans recruit. You'll see him, his long sleeve jumper and blonde hair. You won't miss him. He'll get his first touch. We'll get a chance to have a look at him. Well, he doesn't lack courage. He seems to have a bit of pace. Left footer, good skills. Well, it's early days. He hasn't been under fire yet. We'll have a chance to have a look at him. Wait, little nudge. Play on, says the umpire. Releases Steed. Now Steed can give him a bit of a lift. Brown fires it up to McGuinness. Short one, sharp one. Out on the lead was Ackland. I think he's gone towards full forward. Looks a little more comfortable there. O'Loughlin couldn't get it. Shirley gathers it in. Clayton, tough defender, tackles him, takes him to the ground and forces a bounce.
Stephen Williams desperately trying to find a slot for Ackland. He's on the power list. He just needs to be able to take a game and dominate it, but he seems to be just his decision making just a little bit slow.
Well, to be fair, he's only, what, 18? He's 196 centimetres, and Mark Naylor will tell you those blokes aren't any good till they're 40.
I'm looking forward to next year then.
Look, he'll be a better player next year for sure.
Next year. You're sitting at home. Can you believe this? Well, we're here. The match of the day, the SANFL match of the day.
We came for a battle. We got it for 2 quarters for sure.
Oh, well, I think we had it for a quarter. I think the Eagles just showed just how good a side they are in the year 2000. They're just working the side over, and they're going to get better. I know the Magpies will as well. A few of their players are coming back from injury, just need a bit of game time. But gee, the Eagles, I keep saying they can move this ball so well from the back line to the forward line. That's a good duel there. Filippo, Fegan, ball slips out now to Steed. You need to get the ball moving. That's holding the ball, but the umpire plays the advantage now.
Pushing the back,
Floriani.
pushing the back, he said.
Oh well. So Alfie kicks in the man on the mark. Now what can he do? Great tackle by Matthew Kluzak from behind. Oh, come on, umpire, that's ridiculous. That is a bad decision.
Well,
that is a bad decision.
We still want to see a contest.
The first one for the day. That was a bad decision. Alfie Steed. Oh, Allison again, but great mark by Clayton. That's his third mark today. But I reckon have been real strong in a tight situation. It's impressive, Allison as well. He worked himself back in hard. But this all came because of a silly decision by the men in white in the middle of the ground. But it's history now as Clayton puts through another goal. That's his second for the afternoon to Mark Clayton. And the Eagle supporters won't be happy with that result.
Now, Mark Clayton playing a pretty good game. 9 kicks, 4 handballs and a couple of goals, but he's been everywhere today. He really has been effective with his possessions. I've been impressed with the way he's played. Allison's going to pick him up now. I'm keen to see him have a go as well. A product, I think, of the Sydney domestic competition. Been on the rookie list for the Swans, jumped out of that and came down here just prior to the deadline, and I've just been told he's actually a Tasmanian, so a man of quality.
Fellow Tasmanian Michael Parsons. Spinagle and through in dead heat. Floriani flicks it out to Shirley. The kick was smothered. Clever work, O'Loughlin flicks it on to Didak. In turn, Brown on the left. He's 60 out and closing. His best kick will lob in the square, and that's exactly where it's going to be. Dropping back as Hall. He's had a pretty good game today at full-back Hall.
State full-back. Just a dogged defender, isn't he? He doesn't go too far, doesn't run down a lot.
And in other matches around town this afternoon, Glenelg by 1 point over Norwood. South Adelaide trail. Oh, South Adelaide by 26 points, Mark Nally.
It must be a gale. It has to be a gale. The Centrals kicked six goals in that second quarter for the Panthers. No score. And we see O'Loughlin cross the car. Dodgers one. Pearce nearly caught him in the second one. Alfie Steed goes back with Ugrinik. The little red leather again. Chases both players out over the line.
Doesn't seem to be a lot of structure to the Port Adelaide full forward line. I think they're really missing Phil Smith. Was dropped to the seconds a month or so ago. Then suffered an injury, but I think if he can get back to some good form for the finals, he's going to be a critical difference.
Well, 23-minute mark in this third quarter. Well, still only 4 goals too. 26 points. He's not beyond the Magpies. It really will be set for a good last quarter. The Eagles will be favoured by a slight breeze here. A chance for McGuinness. He'll kick this. I've already had it marked down in my book before McGuinness had it into his hands. He just knows how to kick goals from those angles.
He just continues to amaze me, this man. He's just a sense of where the goal is, to be able to take it from any position, from any angle, throw it on the boot, and more often than not come up with numbers. Look at that, just the quick hand of foot skills, and to get it straight. Fantastic work from Phil McGuinness. He's going to be up there come Gary Medal night, I would think. He's had a lot of the ball this year. He's had a great season, and that was a great goal to go with it.
Interesting you say that, Michael. He hasn't been favoured by the umpires in the past. David Brown, the skipper, well-earned rest. First game back after injury. Underdone for sure, but he'll be better for the run. White gathers it in one-handed, almost mowed down by Colville. Still dispatches the kick to half forward. Clayton fights hard for the contest. Takes it, chips it away, and Didak, 50 metres out, marks.
Kick this.
Well, he's a penetrating kick, the 17-year-old. Left footer, and we saw him kick an explosive running goal in the first quarter that really did have the stamp of a very good player on it. Now we'll test him. Set shot. Leans into the ball, drives it long. It's a good-looking kick. Didak's got his second. Port Adelaide are making a challenge. Can they reel in the Eagles?
Kick of a good player, that one. Good technician, You watch the tight instep of this man when he kicked the ball. It's the way to kick a ball for the young guys watching. But pretty good job from Clayton again. As I said, I've been impressed with his game today. Didak took the mark at 49, kicked from 55, lovely tight instep, toe pointed, and he's kicked at 65 metres.
10-9-69, the Magpies 8-7-55. Colville pushing Ashley. The free kick go against Colville. Will it? It won't. The umpire just settles them down. Umpire Williams takes charge. Pearce, Neiman, Colville, and the back was Shirley. But McGuinness again just takes the ball, gets the ball to boot as quickly as he possibly can. Orman Allen moved from the back lines to the forward line. Shirley head down over the football, taken by Carr. The free kick's been given against Carr. Will be taken by Shirley. Wants to get the ball out quickly, he does to Fruin. Fruin's got Gallagher inboard, comes out wide, is still to Neiman. Neiman can give off the tape, he doesn't. Turns it around, got Gallagher down the line. Also Matthew Kluzak. Gallagher goes back with Carter. Gallagher in front, takes a very good mark. Well, it surprised me. Carter didn't go for the discipline sport, but the kick by Gallagher again. An unforced turnover. An error by David Gallagher. Well, the chance here, over the top, great defensive work by Holland. Crashing in was Clayton. Oh, Clayton.
Now that is good umpiring. This is where the umpire really has made a decision to protect the ball player, and McClure really committed himself. Clayton did nothing wrong, he came in hard, but the umpire made the dead set right decision to look after the ball player. Filippo, 14 points the margin. The Eagles just need another steadying goal, because if Port Adelaide get the next, you just sense that they might find something and start a run. So the game's still in the balance. Late in the third quarter, as Carter picks it up, walks across the line, under pressure, and the boundary umpire says, fellas, I'll have a throw in. Well, I guess there'll be a bet on there. The Eagles and the Magpies holding hands. Well, nowhere else would you see that. Colville, under pressure. It was good pressure too, because it allowed the kick just to not carry. And Filippo, who started in the forward line, now playing in defence. Orman Allen and him have swapped. And you might see brother on brother shortly, because Sam and Michael Filippo will be standing each other. Clever work, Pearce to McClure. Well, this has been a spectacular return to senior football for McClure. Running and courageous. He hits it hard, drives along to the forward line. Cockatoo Collins there. Kluzak's there for the Eagles. Cockatoo Collins paddles the ball across the line, conceding the point.
Again, you have a look at the structure of the West Torrens Eagles. Woodville-West Torrens Eagles. I must get it right. But there's just no lead straight down the middle of the ground on the forward entries. We've seen it week after week, but today it's just not there from Chris Kluzak. A lot to do with the whole filling of the big guys from Port Adelaide, but the structure just not quite what it should be, but they've still got that lead on the board.
Filippo's kick towards Spinagle. He couldn't take on the first grab, knocked down by Neiman to Pearce. Pearce goes over the top. Dylan couldn't quite get his fingers to the ball either. Well, Corey Archie is... Dylan's starting to cramp up. Just shows the amount of work that he's done this afternoon. It's been very quick. Loose players, Eagles, there's three of them there. Chance, again the Eagles just slip it. The kick's not good, it's come up over the top. Christopher Kluzak's back there with Archie, comes across to Fraser. DCC takes it back to Fraser again. Now straightens up, comes out wide. Allison and Clayton, who will take the mark here? Neither player, and it comes down to Colville. Well, Michael, we just thought the Eagles came out so well. I think they kicked the first 3 goals in that third quarter to extend their lead. But the Magpies, to their credit, they fought back.
It remains,
really, we're going to have a good last quarter of football.
It remains a quality game of football. Both teams kicking 3 goals too over that period. Really, Port Adelaide, their game plan's intact. They're flooding into the back lines. They're keeping their forward lines open, and they're trying to slow the game down. The Eagles, their game plan's a bit different. It's about getting control across their half-back line, quick entries into the forward line, and looking for the leading forwards, where Corey Archie is doing a great job for Port Adelaide holding it up. But it's still in the balance. It's a good game. The coaches are about to do their thing, and I'm looking forward to the last quarter.
Well, three-quarter time scores indicate the Eagles, they're 10-10-70. Another 15-point margin, same as half-time. The Magpies 8-7-55. And you're watching this match of the day on ABC Sport. The siren sounds to start the last quarter. This match between the Eagles and the Magpies is going to be a good one. Sit back. We said make that lovely hot cup of tea or coffee. Enjoy local football at its best. Well, the support's been good. People have come out to witness this game this afternoon. The Magpies just waiting. They definitely have improved. We've still got a few more weeks to go as we see Eagles again. Gallagher, left leg, kicks it high. Spinagle's back there. Oh, he's got to go back. Great courage shown by Spinagle, but Dylan's there. Spinagle's second effort at ground level was very good. Intelligently, he got the ball across to Fegert. Fegert down the line. Fruin goes back with the ball. And Laughlin's there with Rogers. And Rogers just knocks the ball out over the line. They'll mount another challenge going for the Eagles supporters. They're getting behind their club. They haven't let them down so far this year. They need them this afternoon. See Darryl Poole there in the box. David?
Yes.
Very unlucky.
Well, best on the ground in last year's grand final. Making come back. What's the umpire say here? Play on. Fair enough. Carter drives it towards centre half forward. Play on again, the call. Players jostling for position. Brown flick. A little bit of space. Carr gives himself a little bit further space. Now it's McGuinness. Drills it in long, hard and low. Out on the lead, it's Ackland. Well, he missed the mark, but the umpire blew the whistle and has paid it. Here it comes. Gets hands to it. No, he controlled it to the ground. That's fair enough. Good umpiring. He held the ball, and when he hit the ground, the ball just popped out. So I think the umpire was fair enough blowing the whistle on that occasion.
Well, this will put it back to a 9-point margin. We really would have a game of football on our hands then.
Well, you made the comment. Ackland's had a miserable day, but there's still 1 quarter to go. 2 or 3 or 4 goals in this term could make a hero of him. Pushes it in. Tate thumps it to ground. Shirley roves it along the boundary line. Just pumps it towards the line. And you can see the anguish on Ackland's face. It's just not working for him today.
See Filippo having a sit on the bench along with
Holland.
Looks like Hollands, just trying to control the blood in the nose. But injury reports, Chalmers, it was an ankle, not the knee that had surgery. And from the Eagles bench, Beveridge is a bit sore.
He's immersed in ice. I don't think the Eagles 3 weeks out from the finals will give too much away, will they?
I don't think they would. So they shouldn't either.
Either that or they've got an incompetent doctor, and I don't think that's the case. I think he's just playing it all close to the chest.
Be very careful. Ackland.
He had a big smile on his face when he said it.
Brown's back on. A little flick pass there. It's being spotted by Richard Williams. Brown had a chance there, but the umpire in the right spot blew the whistle. Jamie Tate comes up with a free kick. Wants to come across. Well, that's his 17th kick from the half-back line. Ugrinic and Didak. It's going to be hard for Ugrinic. He's got 2-on-1 here. McGuinness just put it over the line. Doesn't need to because it runs itself out. So again, McGuinness, Ugrinic just pushing and shoving.
Family day at the football. Kids are in free, and don't they love it?
And a very big crowd as Rogers thumps the ball towards the line. And over it goes. Cockatoo Collins comes in. There's still some intimidation going on. Gallagher just sniggers.
I think Gallagher is the marked man.
Pearce gets some treatment on a hamstring, tightening up, get him off before it's any real damage. Neiman front position, Spinagle from behind.
Oh.
That was a magpie sandwich as Bamford was caught.
It was an eagle sandwich.
No, it was a magpie sandwich.
No, the magpie was in the middle.
Rogers and McClure
right.
sandwiched him, Mark.
You're right.
What about these other matches, Mark, around town? Norwood by 23 points, Glenelga falling in a
And
hole.
the Panthers have kicked 9 goals to 4 behinds by the Centrals. The lead by 37 points at three-quarter time. Well, Dylan goes in.
Hey!
55. Bit having a behind play, but don't worry about that because the first goal of the last quarter has been kicked by Jason Dillon for the Eagles. And that's great. Great stuff for the Eagles.
We just said that Gallagher was the marked man. I think he just got a bit of a touch up there. We were watching this while Dillon was kicking his goal. There it was. Just have a look at that. Just Oh, there's the man we're supposed to be roughing up, so we'll just help myself up off the ground.
It's called
there we go.
We'll see you in the finals. That's what that's called.
He's going to look for the blood on the chin of Gallagher. He tears away from umpire Richard Williams again.
Well, Carr has just called out to the umpire. He said, umpire, I got a bloody one over here. And umpire Richard Williams sends Gallagher to the bench.
Well, he had tape underneath his chin. That got pulled off in that incident. So he needs to come off and just get another bit of elastopass put across there, as we see.
Now, this is an interesting move that Filippo's gone onto the wing to stand Carr.
No, it's not. This will be a square up. Filippo will walk on and said, that was seen, and I'll fix you later. Because now Dylan goes down to the wing and Filippo goes to the forward flank.
Well, the knock on. The Eagles have a chance here. Waite's there. Great battle. DCC's back there. Donald Cockatoo Collins. Ball's chipped forward. O'Loughlin will be confronted by Rogers. Waite tries to take on everybody and got through and got the kick up. But the kick's only gone as far as Dutchy Holland. Why has he called play on? I think he's played on himself.
He did
come across to Neiman. Doesn't need to. He's got Colville Depot. Ugrinic's there as well. Didak running loose. Well, Colville's just kept running. Bamford was a good 20 metres away. This time Colville puts the ball in. First will be there will be Spinargle. Couldn't take that mark. Now he's under a fair bit of pressure from the Eagles forward line, led by Pesh.
Spinargle has played well, but he just lets himself down with that one, doesn't he? As we see Gallagher just getting touched up.
17 kicks, 4 handballs to Gallagher. It's been a great display. The Crows, I think, would have had a pretty good look at him today. And Holland comes off the blood rule. So they're bloodied and beaten, the Eagles, but they're not done yet.
And Spinargle, we'll go back to him. He's played a good game. Hasn't had a kick, but he does have 11 handballs to go with his 7 marks. And he's been pretty aggressive at the centre bounces and around the ground. He's done well also filling in that hole that stopped Christopher Kluzak being a factor at full forward.
First at it to the Magpies, but they've lost it again. Filippo's in there, coming through hard as Figure. Gets the handball across to the Magpies, Filippo. He just chips the ball up again. They really have wasted this afternoon. Floriani across the big fella and Neiman. Neiman from 48 metres unleashes with a beautiful goal.
Point. A beautiful point.
It looked like a goal from up here. 11-11 now. 77.
It was a good kick from David Neiman in the end. He didn't have a lot of time. He just didn't quite get the drop of the ball right, did he? And in the end, it floated just to the near side.
Enormous amount of pressure out there now. 77 plays 55. It's a 22-point ball game, and you can guarantee if the Magpies are going down, they're going down fighting. As Filippo pushes out wide, Neiman had a big stretch, couldn't bring it down. McClure, what a big game it's been back, first game back for him. And Pesh finds the ball at 55 metres out. He can turn it around and go for goal. That's not normally their way. They were looking for the sweet spot, but he had the lead, and it was Stevens left unattended, right on the goal line, and the kick was a beauty. Hit him right on the head, and Stevens marks at point-blank range.
Interesting angle that they've put him on here. It's one of the things about the rules of Australian football I'm not quite sure about. He's marked on the goal line, and now he's got a very tight angle.
He'll just turn it around the corner.
Touched
off hands through for one. No, touched out of play anyway.
Too close to the man on the mark was Stevens. He was only about, I reckon, 5 or 6 metres, then decided to walk out. Just had no room. He should have gone back past the point post.
I think he's hobbling,
giving himself a bit of space.
I don't think he can run. I think it's more about...
he's just underdone. He'd have to be underdone. It's been a...
No, he got a knock on his leg early, and they've had him on the bench for most of the third quarter, and they're just undermanned at the moment. He's had to go to a forward pocket. But look at that. That is clever. Turns it around. Sheer courage, sheer desperation. And I think that might be, for Stevens, the welcome back that he wanted, because that says goodnight to Port Adelaide.
It's a reasonable call, David. Fairly early in the last quarter, but that lead's now stretching out. Mark Stevens, though, he has played a pretty good game. First game back, broke his leg early in the year. First game back, and he's pretty happy to get that one on the ball. 18 possessions he's had today, 13 kicks, 5 handballs, and 6 marks. He's been a very good player. Started at centre-half forward, went to centre-half back. He's been a good player all day.
Back in the middle again. Neiman up against Spinargle, comes down. Neiman thumps the ball forward. Colville runs on it. Take on Carter, coming out hard. The ball's not clear. Bamford's there. Will go around the body. Heads up. The Magpies have numbers through O'Loughlin. He's got Brown, his captain, alongside. Comes inboard towards Tregenza. Should take this and run on. He does. Looks up and sees the wall of Eagles defenders there. Goes out wide with the kick. The kick is atrocious by Simon Tregenza. He's hit David Gallagher by himself. So he takes it, pushes it out wide. Colville just getting stronger and starting to pick up possessions.
It's going to be hard to pick the best today.
22 he's had this afternoon, down on what he's used to, but gee, he was held pretty well in that first quarter.
What about this guy?
Yeah, great comeback.
Lazarus, they're going to call him.
You'd have to handball out to your grit. Now, will he take him on? He won't. Chips the ball out, comes out fairly wide to Jamie Tate. Tate goes over the top of your grit. He'll take on Didak. Now gets the kick in. It's a wobbly old kick. Spinagle's back there again. He misses the mark he should take. At the back there is Corey Archie. Wanted to get through, but it was held up very quickly again by the Eagles defence from Stevens and also Christopher Kluzak.
And again, we see Spinagle. Again, he's played that good game. Just lets himself down when he goes the uncontested marks and let him slip over the back.
Mark Stevens is battling on one leg as Archie shoots it out to Fegan in turn. Brown, who had a rest in the third quarter, he's gone. Filippo in turn, Fegan. Now, Fegan's been a very good defender today. And no other option, heads to the boundary line. Pick your best for Port Adelaide, Michael, if you can. It's a tough one.
Just to give me a moment to put my head through that one.
Fair
as
enough.
we see the Eagles supporters starting to get those smiles creeping across the dial.
11 minutes into the final term, Spinagle up. Colville thumps it forward. Shirley got the handball away, but it was smothered. And now it stacks on the middle. And a very good crowd. You're sitting at home today, probably one of the best crowds we've seen at Woodville Oval. And they've enjoyed it. And there is Jack Quick.
It's actually backside.
81 years of age on Monday. Good on you, Jack, an Eagle supporter, and proud of it. Bamford to Tregenza, to centre half forward, and Clayton. There's a lot to like about this young man. Spoken to a few AFL scouts about him in recent weeks. They think he just lacks the pace to play the position. But gee, if courage is anything, or commitment is anything, he's got it all. Takes them on, tries everything. What's he done? He's got a point. But he just tries. He's a trier, isn't he? He's thinking all the time.
Yeah, just run out of thoughts there. Just got too close to the man on the mark. Didn't know what to do. Tried to run around. Quick enough to do that, but put himself under pressure and couldn't get the kick straight.
Matthew Kluzak takes the ball from the spoil. Up high towards Fruin and Fegan. Fegan comes out with the football. Taken high there again by Dillon. He can spot his captain inboard. It's that direction now. Brown.
It's better.
Great pass up forward to Norman Allen. Norman Allen, nobody in the square. Goes long with a kick. Clayton has grabbed everything this afternoon. This time, good sport behind. Great work by Stephen Hall. Lays the football out there for Gallagher. Gallagher will come over the top. Hit Pesh. Pesh will take it. Now, where's his options? They're short. And they're Floriani. Floriani will go wide and still they've got loose players again. The Eagles can come across to Allison, decides to head towards his brother. Back there was Archie over the back with the spoil. Spinagle covering. Just chips the ball up. Coming from Bamford, finds Tregenza.
Archie's done a very good job on Chris Kluzak. You'd have to put him on amongst their better players. I don't know why that kick came back in ball. Tregenza's just had a shocker today. That's two that have almost resulted in goals. That one was a point. Dillon's first quarter, fellas, was electrifying.
He was my best on ground in that first quarter. Started cramping up a little bit just a little while ago. He really has put in the legs. He's just starting to show the effects of it now. He's a good player. He's just one of that crop of Eagles, mid-sized to smaller players that have excellent skills and great running ability.
So Filippo to bring the ball back in. Got Julian Waite moving to sides to go right down the middle of the ground. He's got big fella there, and Spinagle over the back. 49 was Filippo, knocked it down. Allison over the top of the football. They haven't stopped trying, the Magpies. They'll be better for this game this afternoon. As we mentioned, players on the dun coming back from injury, coming off the bye as well. O'Loughlin handballs inside to Tregenza, gives it out wide to Alfie Steed. Steed from 65 heads up towards Clayton. Shirley's back there. Bumps the ball through for another rush behind for the Magpies. Well, 8-9. There's 12-12. Waite fighting hard for it. As We see Holland coming back on for another try. See that nosebleed will stop.
David Neiman sits down, well-deserved rest. He's been a pretty good player today, both in the ruck and then when he's crept forward. I think he's kicked just the one goal, but he's been a good option as Tregenza pays the penalty for skill error and sits down.
It's been a tough year for him with the injury as well, but he'll be better in the finals. Fast, dry ground, so too will McGuinness. Gee, the Eagles have got plenty of place to go with them, and firepower will match firepower for sure. Matthew Ashley dragged off the contest. Fruin got him in the tackle. Fruin recovers. That's a slippery ball. Couldn't quite get that sucker. And the umpire says we'll have a bounce. 84 plays 57. Paul Hamilton will come away from this match with a win and a psychological edge over Port Adelaide this year. 2 wins and a loss to the Eagles. And Stephen Williams knows that he's got some very good players coming back, but he'll need to get them fit and firing.
Well, important games also being played around the state this afternoon. Norwood by 25 points. So they got that game. And South, well, they're hanging on to a 34-point margin.
Oh, doggies. 2 weeks ago, I saw them beat this Port team by 92 points. And to slip the South is not a good sign coming into the finals.
Well, the Sturt side belted them and buffeted them last week, and confidence must be a factor. And South Adelaide are a tough side. They've had some inconsistencies this year, but at their best, South Adelaide are pretty good. Brown around the corner on the left boot, deep in the pocket. Norman Allen, big fly, couldn't bring it down. Second effort was good, turns it around the corner. What's he done? The umpire says that's fair enough, it's a goal. So they're not dead yet. They're 21 points down, 16 minutes played. They've perhaps got 10 or so minutes to go. The best Port Adelaide team could get home from here.
Any Port Adelaide team can get home. They've just got that culture of never say die. Trent Allen, he's a fantastic athlete, isn't he? I think he went number 10 in the draft about 4 or 5 years ago. Really is a good athlete. I think sometimes we'd have to question his decision making, but in that case, he took the fly, landed on his feet, he was still at it, got the recovery, and a good finish as Stephen Williams works on the telephone in the Chewy. He hasn't given up. These boys are still a chance.
21-point margin to the Eagles again. Important bounce, important centre clearance. Didak, the youngster, comes up with it, kicks it up towards Alfie Steed. Overrunning it was Holland, crashing into the pack now as Ugrini gives the handball out to Rogers. Rogers goes back to Mates, ground here to Jamie. Tape to Holland. And sends players around, so stops and props, turns the head. Will look wide. Spanagle's there. Fruin's calling it down about 75 metres in the middle of the ground. Now runs towards the grandstands. That's the direction the Holland goes with the kick. Spanagle and Fruin, they're both up there. Fruin comes down with it. Brown intelligently knocks the ball over his head to Spanagle. Spanagle down to Fraser. Fraser comes up, gets back onto his right leg, kicks it up high towards Orman Allen. The big spork behind comes down to Orman Allen again. Just kicks the ball forward. Not favoured by the bounce, and it's out of bounds to be thrown in.
It might be Trent Allen that Stephen Williams has been looking for. He's just been looking for a spark in that forward line to give them something. He's the man that's got the physical tools. If he can kick 2 or 3 now, he'll be thought of as a hero down at Appleton tonight.
Plays tall and he's quick. You just need him taking the contest, which he's starting to do. He was truly ordinary in the third quarter, but hasn't he given them something since going to the forward line? And we question where his career was. It was at the crossroads the way he was playing, and he was a nothing player, and suddenly he shows that flash that people have seen in him, and you just think he could be a player. Clayton caught, holding the ball, says the umpire. He had nowhere to go and made the right decision to hold the ball.
Clayton was desperate to just throw that ball onto his boot. He could feel the angle was right, but it was pretty well held in.
Tape has been very good in defence for the Eagles today, one of their better players. Kluzak's fought hard.
Beautiful.
He is a clever player, and playing on a quality player in weight. You just see he can play full forward, he can play a forward pocket, he can play half forward and a wing. The Eagles have a fair amount of versatility.
That's a good kick too.
Stevens on one leg, pushes it out to McClure. Well, he started on the bench, but he'll figure amongst their best 5 or so players. To Colville, who also has battled hard. He's been tagged all day. Fraser's got him now. He's found plenty of the ball. Gallagher's been very good. From a wing, he squares it up. Big fly, Filippo. 2 bites at the cherry. Archie held his legs, and he always does that, Archie. Very rarely falls over. Brown, well, he's underdone for sure, the skipper, but hasn't it been a lion-hearted effort? Now Steed, one-handed, two-handed attempt. Bang, took 2 down with him, opened it up for Didak. Didak can chip it over the top, will go the whole way, chips it over the chop. Not a bad option in the final wash. Loose ball falls, Tate, the reliable defender, and he just goes towards the boundary line. Holland quite content. 21 points of difference, 19 and a half minutes. High quality game of SANFL footy, and you've seen all the action on ABC Sport.
Look at that for a picture. Fantastic.
Bulls put back in again to field of play. Down there is Pesh, tries to throw the football out. Should have been penalised. O'Loughlin just pats it out over Brown. He must be tired.
He's given an effort today, hasn't he? He really has had a go. He came in, he's niggled the opposition. He's given a physical presence. But the legs are just starting to tire on him now.
Now, fellas, I'm looking ahead. It's Norwood and Sturt at Norwood Oval next week. We've seen a true blockbuster here today. Two great sides, 1 versus 3. Next week, we get a chance to see how good Norwood are, because Sturt are improving, and it'll give us a fair old indication of where they stand in the finals.
Pesh throws the ball